with the financial support of the LIFE program of the European Union.
The LIFE4FIR project's overarching goal was to develop and apply both in situ and ex situ strategies for the conservation and protection of Abies nebradensis. Abies nebradensis is a fir species endemic to Sicily, classified as critically endangered and thus included in the IUCN Red List. Today, the remaining natural population consists of only 30 adult trees distributed across an area of about 84 hectares within the Modoni Park. Given this dire situation, the Abies nebradensis species benefits from protection measures implemented by the European Union. Its habitat is considered of community interest, and the natural population is included in the Natura 2000 network.
The LIFE4FIR project was necessary to address all the issues related to the preservation of Abies nebradensis, a species critically threatened with extinction, whose natural population consists of just 30 individuals and is among the 50 most threatened species in the Mediterranean. This situation arose because in the past, the valuable timber of Abies nebradensis was used to construct church ceilings, including the Palatine Chapel in the Palazzo dei Normanni. Additionally, pastoral activities in the areas where the natural population currently exists have significantly altered the habitat conditions, leading to a numerical reduction in this species.
In response to these threats, the LIFE4FIR project set a series of objectives that together could improve the conservation status of Abies nebradensis.
We are at the beginning of the Vallone Madonna degli Angeli, where the main nucleus of the Abies nebradensis population resides. One of the main objectives of the project was to support and protect the remaining adult trees and young seedlings of natural regeneration, helping them to counteract the main adversities through measures implemented directly in the natural habitat of the forest. Simultaneously, efforts were made to increase the genetic diversity of the species by promoting cross-pollination through a controlled crossing program. The seedlings obtained after a nursery phase were used in a reforestation plan in selected areas with the aim of creating new population cores for redistribution and restoring the dynamic structure of the population. Moreover, LIFE4FIR pursued the goal of ensuring the species conservation through ex situ measures, based on the creation of a clonal arboretum and the establishment of a seed bank and a cryobank. Alongside these more technical objectives, the consortium pursued the goal of promoting protection and conservation measures, ensuring their sustainability and replication in the years to come. Raising awareness and sensitivity to environmental issues, the importance of biodiversity, and the protection of endangered species, along with specific training and education measures for replicating LIFE4FIR models, are essential tools to ensure a lasting and effective impact of the project.
In order to best plan and implement conservation actions, the first phase of the project focused on completing a series of preparatory activities.
One of the main problems faced by endangered species is the low genetic diversity among their individuals, which hampers population regeneration. In the case of conifers like firs, hybridization with other species is common, resulting in a loss of genetic identity. The collaboration with the University of Seville in the LIFE4FIR project was focused on the genetic characterization of the natural population of Nebrodi fir, Abies nebradensis, consisting only of 30 adult individuals and 118 young ones.
We selected over 2,000 seedlings from the Piano Nos nursery, located near the natural population, which hosts thousands of seedlings resulting from the reforestation actions of previous projects. Our results reflect a genetic variability in the adult individuals similar to other firs. However, it is expected that this genetic diversity will decrease in future generations due to a very high self-fertilization rate of 95%, which we detected in the young of the natural population. A small percentage of hybridization with other nearby firs, such as the white fir of Alba or the Greek fir of Cephalonia, was found. The genetic analyses of the nursery seedlings revealed results quite similar to those found in the natural population.
Future forecasts we made using assisted gene flow simulations, i.e., performing controlled crosses among the most genetically diverse individuals in the population, suggest that these measures might help mitigate genetic loss. However, this may not be enough to help this species face the imminent environmental challenges, such as climate change. Exploring the adaptive potential of hybrids with other fir species might be crucial in establishing an effective conservation strategy for Nebrodi fir, given its alarming conservation situation from a genetic standpoint. Once this preparatory phase was concluded, the partners of the LIFE4FIR project set to work on the actual conservation activities. Some activities focused on protecting the natural stand in the Madoni Park area.
A new fencing system was installed to protect the adult trees and the natural regeneration from wild herbivores such as deer and wild boars, which are overpopulated in the area. A video surveillance system was installed at major access points as a deterrent against vandalism and uncontrolled grazing. Measures were taken to contain erosive phenomena, located around plants 16 and 17, through natural engineering interventions, such as new grates and removals. Monitoring of biotic and abiotic stresses and the health status of the trees was conducted.
Among the in-situ protection activities for Abies nebrodensis is the monitoring of biotic and abiotic stresses and the health status of the trees of the natural stand. This was achieved through phytosanitary surveys and the acquisition of the morphometric parameters of the plants. Data obtained from ground inspections were integrated with multispectral analysis performed by drones on the physiological state of the plants. The results of the investigations ruled out the presence of aggressive pathogens. Overall, the plants showed a fundamentally good state of health. The sporadic alterations found on the crowns are primarily due to the very severe environment in which they live. Therefore, the species is well adapted and able to tolerate the prevailing stresses in its natural habitats.
In order to increase the genetic diversity of the progeny of Abies nebrodensis within the LIFE project, we carried out cross-fertilizations. These fertilizations were carried out in 2020, 2022, and 2024. From the pollination work we performed, we obtained about 100,000 seeds which were then sown in appropriate containers with suitable substrate to obtain healthy seedlings. Although in the first year a high percentage of empty seeds and a high mortality rate of seedlings were observed, we managed to obtain a total of about 5,000 seedlings raised in the nursery.
The genetically selected seedlings obtained through controlled crosses were used to create repopulation and redistribution cores established in 10 areas of the park between 750 and 1. The new installations were created taking into account the ecological characteristics of Abies nebrodensis, preferring sites with north-northeast exposure under the cover of existing tree formations and with the help of broom plants planted simultaneously to ensure adequate protection for the young fir seedlings.
We are in the experimental plot of Contrada mandarini where we can notice a young seedling of Abies nebrodensis planted last autumn. It is a seedling that has been placed inside an experimental hole in such a way as to also withstand the hot summers. As you can see, there are 2 plants belonging to the legume family that, in addition to partially shading the young seedling of Abies nebrodensis with the symbiosis they activate with nitrogen-fixing bacteria, enrich the soil with nitrogen, allowing the young seedling of Abies nebrodensis to grow faster.
We are still in the mandarini plot where we have made a fence of 400 m by 400 m on each side. We have practically a fence about 1.80 m high with squares that are exactly square-shaped. This fence is necessary because both deer and wild boar are present in the park, and therefore it is necessary to protect the plot from these animals.
In addition to in-situ actions, the consortium has implemented a series of activities for the ex-situ conservation of the germplasm of Abies nebrodensis through the creation of a seed bank and a cryobank now operational at the Man of Polizzi generosa and the establishment of a clonal arboretum at the Piano Neuse nursery. With reference to the latter, an innovative grafting procedure has been developed that has achieved a percentage of successful grafts never seen before on a recalcitrant species like Abies nebrodensis.
The cryobank is an environment where inside containers like this one, various materials taken from plants can be stored in liquid nitrogen and preserved indefinitely. Why is this? Because inside it contains liquid nitrogen that produces a temperature of -196 degrees Celsius or -160 degrees Celsius in the upper part. A temperature that determines the total arrest of cellular metabolism. Thus, the material contained herein, plant material, is physiologically and biochemically stable but remains viable so it can be brought back to life once thawed. The first Italian cryobank was established at the National Research Council of Florence, and it preserves ancient varieties of apples and citrus. But this one in Polizzi generosa, established inside the municipality of Polisi in the Abies nebrodensis Museum, has particular peculiarities. In the sense that it is the first cryobank in the world established inside a natural park and is the second highest cryobank in the world in terms of altitude. Therefore, these are characteristics that make it unique in this sense. What is stored inside? It stores material from LIFE4FIR plants, in particular pollen, embryos, and these forms of undifferentiated growing cells.
The seed bank represents a useful and fundamental tool for the ex situ conservation of plant biodiversity. This is achieved through the storage of seeds at low temperatures, around -18 degrees Celsius. The seeds are small samples, easy to handle, and can be preserved for a long period while remaining viable. Abies nebrodensis, like other conifers, produces numerous empty seeds, meaning they lack embryos, and thus selecting vital seeds is crucial for their conservation. For this purpose, within the LIFE4FIR project, we have applied the X-ray technique. This technique allowed us to assess the seeds, check for the presence or absence of an embryo, and discard seeds unsuitable for conservation, then storing them in the seed bank. The selected seeds were weighed, counted, placed in suitable containers, complete with all relevant information, and are now kept at -18 degrees in a refrigerator.
To maximize the impact of the LIFE4FIR project and ensure the effectiveness and replication of the proposed solutions, the consortium has implemented a series of outreach and training actions. All parts of the LIFE4FIR project have contributed to maximizing the communicative and educational impact, aimed at reaching both the general audience and specific targets. Through broader, general scope actions, such as online communication, organizing open days, guided tours, and participating in fairs, we aim to raise awareness among local communities and the population. More than 1,000 students from various parts of Sicily have taken part in site visits. Additionally, more specific events such as workshops, replication events, and training sessions have been directed at the scientific community, stakeholders, protected area managers, and institutions to promote the proposed solutions and the best practices developed, allowing for their further exploitation and continuous improvement.
Welcome to Generosa Police, in the cryobank of the Abies nebrodensis, on a protected species, an endangered species, the pride of the Polisiani of the Madoni Park, with 30 specimens in nature and 1 in the urban center. Among the projects that the administration wants to cultivate is making it a symbolic tree for the entrance of the country in a project of human requalification that somehow recalls this species.
Besides the informative meetings held inside the Museum of Abies nebrodensis, where the interventions carried out for the conservation of the species and the specific characteristics of the Abies nebrodensis were presented, several guided tours were also conducted both in the Piano Nose Nursery and in the indigenous area of Abies nebrodensis to show the Madoni schools and others where the plant lives and to let them observe the individual plants in nature.
In the extraordinary competition between the scientific and academic institutions of this project and the Park Authority, it's not only about addressing the numerical decrease of this endangered endemic species and enhancing its genetic heritage, but there's more. It's about resigning to future generations the environmental value of this wonderful tree that symbolizes our land for an entire community, that of Polisi Generosa of the Madoni and all of Sicily. For this reason, this extraordinary work needs to be supported, valued, increased, and it is requested that all schools be present here to know the heritage.
We are here for a project for the protection of biodiversity, which has already been started a few years ago for the protection of Abies nebrodensis, a species that for us is a treasure to be protected, maintained, and we hope that this project can continue and hope to involve more and more young people so that this project also leads to a good understanding of the natural resources of the Sicilian region and especially to bring young people closer to loving nature.
Here, we have arrived at the final phase of the LIFE4FIR project funded by the European Community, which sees as a leading subject the CNR of Florence, the Madoni Park Authority, the University of Palermo, the University of Seville, and the Department of Rural Development of the Sicilian region, and this thanks to a particular plant called Abies nebrodensis and is a plant typical and exclusive to the Madoni Park.
The LIFE4FIR project has generated impacts on multiple levels. From a technical perspective, it has demonstrated the validity of the proposed solutions for the safeguarding of the endangered species Abies nebrodensis. The techniques developed can be easily adapted and replicated for the protection of other endangered species in favor of maintaining and promoting biodiversity. On a social level, the project has helped to increase awareness and knowledge of environmental issues and the biodiversity support measures funded by the European Union. It has also implemented measures to encourage the replicability of the proposed solutions, making available to the public, the scientific community, industry professionals, and stakeholders the knowledge and experiences gained during the project. On the legislative level, during the implementation of the project, the Madoni Park Authority has drafted new plans for monitoring, controlling, and capturing populations of deer and wild boar, including the Zone A of complete protection of the park where the population of Abies nebradensis resides. The care of the implementation was authorized in 2021 by the regional department with a decree from the General Director.